Sports Talk. Let's go.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, Clutch Sports Talk in the house, and welcome to another episode of NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, Ryan Flowers. Man, Week 6 has already kicked off. Obviously, it started Thursday night, and we got the early London games going on right now. It's halftime between the Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans. But as usual, we have a lock and stock episode ready to go. I'm going to talk about my Week 6 power rankings. Also, we're going to jump right into the Week 6 preview. And then we'll finish up with my clutch picks of the week. Not off to a good start with that. So listen up. It's early. I get it. Pour up your coffee. Get whatever you got to get. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is Clutch Sports Talk, NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go. Hey, good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the house. Happy Sunday morning to you all. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to the show, this is your first time, and please hop on in, drop a comment. We already got some comments going this morning already, but make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well as hit us up on the Grid Network per usual. But it's always my pleasure to bring the best of Sunday morning to you guys every Sunday morning during the NFL season. And before we get the show kicked off, I have a special guest. He wanted to come on real quick. And come here. He wanted to say something to y'all.
Hello. My name is Dallas Flowers.
All right. That's Young Clutch.
Bye-bye.
All right. And there he is. He just wanted to hop on this Sunday morning. And there he goes. That's the future there of Clutch Sports Talk. But anyway, yeah, man, hope you guys are having a great morning already. We got my boy Patrick. He's already in the comment section. He says, good morning and happy NFL Sunday morning. Wake up. Let's hope for the bounce back win for Dallas. Long live the Grid. Absolutely, man. And we'll talk a lot about Dallas today because they significantly dropped in my power rankings. I'm not gonna even spoil it. So we'll get to that later. Right now, we got the Baltimore Ravens. They're up at half, 18-3 against Tennessee Titans. The Titans just looked overmatched at this point right now. Ravens doing whatever they want to do with the ball on offense. Lamar Jackson, missed on a couple throws there, but at the end of the day, I think the Ravens are still just a better team at this point. More firepower. Zay Flowers is going off right now. He just had a touchdown right before the half. But it is what it is. But yeah, so we'll keep it rolling. So, all right, man, let's get straight into the power rankings. And let's talk about this for a second here. You're going to see a significant change here with one team being bumped out of the power rankings. I may be overreacting, but it is what it is. We're going to start with the Niners. Listen, the Niners are the best team right now in the National Football League. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending, because the last team I said that was the best team, they ended up having a terrible loss. Literally the week that I said they were the best team, that was the Miami Dolphins. But undoubtedly, last week, Sunday Night Football, they just put, as one of my favorite wrestlers would say, smack it down on my Dallas Cowboys. Hung 40 on them boys. Listen, this team, they may not be glamorous or sexy. They don't have like the offensive firepower like per se Miami Dolphins do. But one thing about San Francisco is that they're very, very stable. And that's what you need in this league, man. Sometimes having the biggest and the brightest stars sometimes doesn't always necessarily equate to wins on the field. Offensively, listen, they're balanced attack. They can run the football with Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy is not back there throwing interceptions. He's not turning the ball over. He's game managing situations, and they're ending up winning the games. He's not losing games for them. And mind you, this guy is still undefeated as a quarterback in the regular season. No one's beaten this guy yet. So, moving on, we got Philadelphia. I know a lot of people aren't impressed with their winning, but this ain't college football. A win is a win. Now, will it catch up to them eventually? It might. It might very well be. But listen, considering that they lost a lot from the coaching side, especially on the defensive side, for them to still be undefeated at this point is pretty remarkable. So I got to tip my hat to them. Yeah, they're not getting the style points that they're beating teams in closer games and what the actual betting spread is. But when does winning take a backseat to style points? A win is a win, right? At the end of the day, especially in the National Football League. So, shout out to them. I think when you look at this power rankings, they match up with anybody on this list, and they do, regardless. So I'm gonna keep giving them the nod there. I still think right now though, if the Niners were to play Philly today, and let's just say it was in Santa Clara, I would give the edge to the 49ers. But Philly is not is it's been pretty impressive. And if you watch too, AJ Brown is starting to get a little bit more comfortable now with the new offensive scheme. It's 2 weeks in a row where he's kind of gone off a little bit. And their defense now today, they will be out a couple guys, but they're still good enough to get the job done. And then number 3, we got the Buffalo Bills. I believe Von Miller, I don't know if he's active today, but I know he's kind of getting back into the fold. Listen, the Buffalo Bills could be a little bit of fool's gold, obviously. You've come off a really good, impressive win, not last week, but the week before against the Dolphins. I mean, just took them to the shed, right? And destroyed them. Now, they've strung together, some wins now after losing to the Jets in week 1. Josh Allen is still their guy there. Everything's going to go through him. And, they can beat these teams in this power rankings. It's just what team is going to show up in the situation, especially when we come playoff time. That's the only thing about the Buffalo Bills. But however, though, they're playing really good, strong football. I'm going to give them a nod at number 3. And then coming in at number 4, the Detroit Lions, in a pretty big matchup for them today, obviously, in Tampa. I'll talk about that later on. But the Lions, are they for real so far? Only one loss to Seattle, who's also in this power ranking. That's the only one bad loss, but they're offensively picked up right where they left off last season. Okay. Now defensively, Aiden Hutchinson is carrying his team. He's literally that dude, right? Now the rest of their pass rush is, could be a little bit less. It's less desirable. But the rest of their defense is kind of hanging in there. As long as they can not, get blown out or keep the game close, their offense will always find a way for them to hang in there. So I like the Lions. I think, are they ready for the prime time yet? We'll see if and when they make the playoffs, because let's be real, that division is theirs to be had. The Packers don't have enough firepower. The Bears, they're week to week, obviously. They got a big matchup today. Who else is in there? The Bears, Lions, Packers. I'm missing one of the Minnesota. Minnesota hasn't even won a game yet. So the Lions should run away with this division and make the playoff. And looking good. All right, Kansas City. Now you want to talk about a team that's like really been, not been impressive, right? It's Kansas City Chiefs, but it's like they're talking about dependency, right? It's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. After that, it's kind of like, what happens? And honestly, and the Eagles are kind of like in this boat too, in the same sense, but they got. Unlike the Eagles, though, they have one loss to Detroit. So I can't, in good conscience, put them over the Lions until, obviously, unless the Detroit Lions have a lesser record, or not less record, but more losses in their loss columns. And then these two played each other heads up. And so I'm a head-to-head kind of guy. So, I'm going to slightly put the Lions over them. But the Chiefs, listen, they still got Patrick Mahomes. And we're going to say this every week. They got Patrick Mahomes. They got Travis Kelce, and they got Taylor Swift and her fans. If that counts for anything, okay? But Andy Reid is still there. Now they're struggling a little bit. Like they barely covered the other day against Denver, and we all know what's going on with Denver at this point. So not a good look for them. But they're still finding ways to win. And I'll give them credit. It is what it is. But right now, I still feel like there's still some deficiencies with them. And sometimes Patrick Mahomes is just able to just find a way out of these games, and they'll get the win. But I got that coming in at number 5. And at number 6, I got the Miami Dolphins. They've dropped a little bit. I actually quite significantly. When you get blown out the way they got blown up against another top-tier team, you got to fall. You got to fall. And that's the only reason why they've fallen so hard, is that because they just got blown out. They got stomped out, okay? They got literally stomped out. So for me, losses like that. Now, if it was a close game, right, and they lost by a field goal or something like that, or a last-minute touchdown, okay, that happens, right? Two good teams going at it. it is what it is. But for them to get just beat up like that, you got to fall. And that's why they're at number 6 for me. And at number 7, Seattle, quietly just kind of playing their games, winning. They got a big one today against Cincinnati. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But I got them at number 7. And number 8, the Jacksonville Jaguars have finally cracked into the top 10, playing a little bit better football. Trevor Lawrence starting to, find his little stride there. Now, will they step up and get into the top 5? I don't know. We'll see. Because they have not started the year off, the way I thought I expected them to. Now, they have a winning record, but I just felt like they would have been gangbusters on a lot of these teams. So, but they're finally slowly starting to get their stride and rhythm together. And at number 9, we got the Baltimore Ravens, who they're handling business right now in London against the Tennessee Titans. Look, Zay Jones looks like he's going to be a bona fide star. I'm sorry, Ravens fans, the Odell Beckham Jr. thing, it's really not working out. And I was on it all summer. He was once, excuse me, a great wide receiver. He's a shell of himself, to be honest with you. And that's why there was no market for him, really. And the Ravens decided to sign him just because they needed to keep Lamar happy. They needed some name, some clout. And I'm watching the guy. He's getting this last week by Joey Porter Jr., the rookie for the Pittsburgh Steelers, talking about he strapped his old ass up like that, And there's going to be a debate: whether or not is he a Hall of Famer? And I don't know, but that's a conversation for another day. Is he a Hall of Famer? I don't know. I don't know if he's done enough. I mean, he's had some very spectacular catches, but is it enough to put him in the Hall of Fame? I don't know at this point. But Baltimore Ravens still looking strong. Their problem is that they got a lot of injuries still, right? And they're probably going to have more to come. Who knows, right? And hopefully that Lamar can stay healthy. Their defense can get a little healthier again, but we'll have to wait and see then. But for the most part, they've bounced back, especially against that loss against the Indianapolis Colts. And right now they're taking. And finally, number 10, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've cracked the top 10. They're 3-1, I believe, in heading into a big matchup today against the Detroit Lions at home. If they win this game, that's going to be something to be said about Tampa Bay. And who would have thought Todd Bowles, Baker Mayfield, listen, because Todd Bowles is coaching for his coaching career this season, right? The way they looked last year without Brady, first year without Brady, and then now, you still don't really have a quarterback. You got Baker Mayfield, okay? But, not bad. They're playing decently, so they're going to crack the top 10. And as you notice, the Dallas Cowboys are not even in the top 10. They're not even in topic of discussion other than the fact that they suck right now, right? And they're a team that, and I'm not even overreacting, right? The Niners really, 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 really made them out to who they really are. A team that's not tough, a team that is overrated on both sides of the ball, a team that really is in a pinch because you get rid of Dak. What's going to happen? Is Cooper Rush better than Dak? I mean, it probably in moments, right? But so Dallas Cowboys have a lot to fix. I don't think the defense is even nearly as good as we thought they were, and it showed again. Now I get it. They held them a little bit. Offense just couldn't get that done. I mean, literally, the Cowboys are about, I want to say they're like 22nd in sustaining offensive drives in the National Football League. That's not very good. You're almost towards the end of the list there, right? And opposite the Niners, they're one of the top 5 teams to sustain drives. And the offense has just not been getting it done. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, we blew up the Jets, we blew up the Patriots. But you can sense that there was some type of deficiency happening with the offense. And there's a couple things that's coming to light. Tony Pollard is not he's not a feature back, which you don't really need a feature back anymore, right? So if you're Jerry Jones, they franchise tagged him. Should they pay him the money? Absolutely not. He's not a guy that's going to carry a team. You just need to go ahead and get your draft on and get some decent dudes back there, because if you start paying him, you're not going to pay these other guys that you need. Offensive line is literally not as good as we thought they were. Now they're not terrible all the way, but they're not as good as most people would think they are. I think we're living in the past when it comes to them. But anyway, I digress. Enough about them. They're not even on the power rankings list, so to hell with them this week. They got the Chargers Monday night tomorrow, so that'll be a big game, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, so let's look at some comments real quick. Patrick, he's been in here. He says, haven't been too impressed with Philly. Yeah, we talked about that. Philly is managing the game by running the ball defensively. Defensively is solid but vulnerable. They've made Mac Jones and Kirk Cousins look like all pros. Yeah, but they're finding ways to win. Seattle game travels. Rather, it's playing in Pacific Mountain. Right. I've always said that about Seattle. They play it wherever, man. They're just like I don't even know, just a fighter. Like they'll play you anywhere. And then he says Chiefs defense has been carrying the team. It's played better each week. Chris Jones has vastly impacted their front. So, oh yeah, I mean Chris Jones is that dude. So, we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about some previews to this game. Obviously, Baltimore Ravens. What's going on right now? It's 18-3, about 12, just under 12. 12:40 left in the third quarter. Ravens driving at this point. So, I mean, obviously, can't really pick this game. It's already going on. But honestly, if I was able to pick this game, I would have taken the Ravens anyway, just because they just got more offensive firepower. It looks like DeAndre Hopkins' experiment really not working in Tennessee. And it could be the quarterback play too. But, let's be real. He hasn't really had great quarterback play his whole entire career. So it is what it is on that. But anyway, moving on to some games that haven't taken place yet. We got the Washington Commanders on the road taking on the Falcons. The Falcons are not a really good team. Okay. Their quarterback not working out for him. Listen, Washington, they're coming off of that ass whooping they took to the Bears on Thursday night last week. I think they got a little bit of something to prove. I'm actually I like the Commanders in this situation. Even though they're on the road, I still like them to pull out the win against the Falcons. So I'm going to take the Washington Commanders. And then we got the Niners and the Browns. This is pretty much this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Deshaun Watson not starting. I think P.J. Walker, former USFL star standout, he's going to get the start today. No way the Niners lose this game. No way. So I'm taking the Niners on that one. In the interesting matchup, we got the Saints versus the Texans. This is going to be one of the games I'm gonna enjoy watching. Now, Texans at home, coming off a close loss last week. I believe was it to the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken. I still think Derek Carr is questionable. I am going to take the Texans at home. I think they got something going on there. Now it's what, plus 1.5 for them. I like the Texans at home to get this win. So I'm going to roll with them. Then we got Carolina and the Miami Dolphins. There's some reports already talking about Carolina. They're looking for a wide receiver. I'm like, look, you guys had one and you traded them. What do you expect? You got a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback. You got Adam Thielen. Like in name theory, it sounds great, right? But when you think about it, Adam Thielen is a shell of himself. He's not the same guy that we saw in Minnesota. This guy has no one to throw to. So part of it is the organization to blame, and part of it is Bryce Young. He might not be that good, honestly. So but in this matchup, I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins to stomp out the the Carolina Panthers. And Carolina Panthers are just going to keep losing, and maybe find themselves in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. Who knows? And then whatever. All right, Seattle and Cincinnati is this is one of my clutch picks of the week. I'm not going to give away yet who I want to win, but listen, Seattle, looking pretty tough. Cincinnati got a good win last week in the desert against Arizona, but still something is not clicking there in Cincinnati. But I'll give you guys my pick on that one later in just a moment. Here, we got the Jags taking on the Colts, if I'm not mistaken. The rematch of, I believe, week 1, if I'm not mistaken, which was a close game. The Jags at home, I should have flipped this graphic, but the Jags are at home. They're not on the road, excuse me. But, I'm going to take the Jags, even though this division is really weird. You got some teams that just match up well with Jacksonville. And actually, Gardner Minshew is going to get the start because Anthony Richardson's out for at least 4 games. He's on the IR. I'm not sure if Jonathan Taylor is going to play. If I'm not, I don't think he is. Even though he would be cleared to play, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if you guys if there's any other news on that. But it's going to be a close one. That this matchup, technically, it's been back and forth. Obviously, the Colts and the Jags. I'm just gonna take the Jags just to win at home, unfortunately. But I like the direction in which the Colts are going. Right, they got some young talent. Anthony Richardson, though, he's gonna have to really protect himself. Can't be running around getting hurt, man. And that's the problem with these athletic quarterbacks is that first sign of trouble or they don't read something, they're going to take off and run and you end up getting hurt. So now he's going to be out for 4 weeks. So it's going to be the Gardner Minshew show for the next 4 weeks and see what happens from there. All right, then we got the Chicago Bears at home taking on the Minnesota Vikings. This is another clutch pick of the week. Minnesota, listen, I don't know what else to say. No Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins not having a terrible year, but this team is just dead in the water. You want to talk about purgatory? This is the Minnesota Vikings. They're not going anywhere fast at this point. They've had a couple seasons where you thought that they were primed to make a run. This hasn't panned out for them, and this is another season to me. It's a wash for them. So, but I'll give you my picks later on for that one. And a big matchup here in Las Vegas today. We got the New England Patriots traveling here to Las Vegas to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders coming off of a pretty exhilarating win on Monday Night Football against the Packers. New England Patriots, Mac Jones is playing for his career today. He is. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Bill Belichick knows his proteges. He knows how to beat them. I am going to lean with the Patriots. Yeah, and I get it. Their offense is not looking great at all. They're missing some guys on the defensive side still, Christian Gonzalez and Matthew Judon. But the Raiders, to me, man, when you think about their offense, again, on paper, you're like Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, like they should just be scoring. But Jimmy G does not look that great either. Jimmy G he's not the guy that they got from San Francisco about 2 years ago. Okay. They're right back in the same spot they were when they had Derek Carr last week. So last year, excuse me. And I don't think it's really the quarterback's fault. It's just the organization sucks. And then here's the other thing. The Raiders, from what I understand from accounts that people have gone to these games, is that there's no real atmosphere in there. Like if you get a strong supported team like the Packers or the Steelers, I think the Patriots have a pretty good, decent fan base. They take over this stadium. They literally take over the stadium. All right. So I'm not saying it's a de facto home game for the Patriots, but there's going to be some friendly faces for them. So I'm going to slightly take the Patriots. I think Mac Jones might play a little bit better. And let's be real. And I know I give Mac Jones a lot of guff, but when you think about it, who's he throwing to, man? He doesn't really have the weapons or the talent around him, man. And most people, you forget about, and even myself, because I succumb to this too. Oh, the quarterback sucks. But then when you peel back and look at it, you're like, still Juju Smith-Schuster, like who? Kendrick Osborne, like who are these guys? You know what I mean? So he really doesn't have much to work with. Hell, he probably threw to better guys when he was at Alabama than he has in the National Football League, and that's a fact. So there's not much that they can do at this point. What can they go get? I heard Jerry Jeudy. We all know what's going on with him in the media lately. He as Steve Smith, he's just a jag, right? Just another guy. I'm not sure if he helps you out. So I really thought they were going to be in the market for DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, that didn't work out. He ended up signing with Tennessee. It is what it is. But I like the Patriots to take the win on the road against Las Vegas. All right. Moving right along, we got the Detroit Lions on the road taking on Tampa Bay. Yeah, I want to see what's the temperature going to be like in this game. I wonder if it tells me that here. I'm looking at 76, partially cloudy, not going to be super hot. So I was thinking if it was going to be super hot and muggy in Tampa, that would be a huge advantage for the Detroit Lions. But here's the thing: the Lions. There were 6 in total yards per game. They're moving the football, man. They're literally top 10 in most categories offensively, rushing, passing, third down conversion. I will say this though, Buccaneers, they convert the football on third down. So that's a big key. But in the end of the day, I'm going to take my chances with Detroit to win this game, as I should. So I think it'll be a closer game than what's expected. I think Tampa Bay, because just they're at home, they're gonna stay in it. But overall, I really like the Lions to win this game and improve, and just keep stacking those wins, man. Keep stacking those wins as they should, and move forward towards the end of the season. All right, then we got Arizona taking on the LA Rams. The Rams are not that bad of a team. I thought they were going to be a fire sale, or a really big mess. Cooper Kupp started last week. Nuka was I can't during the week I know this guy's name, and then I come on here and I forget the guy's name. Nua Pakua, whatever his damn name is. They got lucky when they found this guy. All right. But Josh, and shout out to Josh Dobbs and Arizona Cardinals. Like, they're playing hard, man. They're not just coming into these games thinking, oh well, we're just gonna lay down and just tank and whatever. They're out here trying to win these games. So I'll shout out my respects to them. But in this case, I like the Rams at home. And Sean McVay is questionable, right? I know his wife, they're expecting their first child. So if she goes into labor, he's already on file saying I'm out. So shout out to him. Hopefully he can coach the game and still be there for the birth of his first child. So, but I like the Rams to win this game. And then the Jets at home against the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this game might be a little bit closer, and then the Eagles will pull away because the Jets just don't have enough offense at the end of the day. And matchup for matchup, they got the better quarterback. The Eagles do. They got the better offensive. Well, it's debatable. That's debatable, I would say. It's just that I don't think they're being used correctly, right? You got Garrett Wilson, who's a bona fide stud. Breece Hall. They finally figured out, like, let's hand this fool the ball off and run the football. If the Jets have any chance of being in this game and even possibly winning it, you got to run the football. And today is probably a good day to run the football because the Eagles are going to be out without Jalen Carter, their stud rookie defensive tackle out of Georgia, and Darius Slay is not playing today. So if the Jets have a chance, they got to attack those areas where those guys who are not there, their replacements. So Jets, you got to run the football today. You got to run the football. That's the only way you guys, and you got a good running back, right? And Breece Hall, and then you signed Dalvin Cook as well. So figure it out, Nathaniel Hackett. Figure it out, bro. But in all, I'm going to take the Eagles to win this game in kind of like a unimpressive fashion. But again, a win is a win, folks. What else can I say? All right. And then we got the listen, I don't know about you guys, but who the hell is watching this Sunday night game tonight? Like, really? Who's watching this game? We got the Buffalo Bills at home taking on the Giants, who are going to be without Daniel Jones, right? Saquon Barkley, I think, is still questionable with the ankle. Darren Waller's out. Like, listen, if you want to talk about flexing a game early in the season, it would be this game for sure. Honestly, man, I like watching football. Don't get me wrong, and I usually watch every Sunday night game, but this particular game, man, it's not doing it. It's really not doing it. I don't even know how I can even watch this game. The Giants suck. They suck. Straight up, they just suck. And I'll give you guys my picks here in just a minute. I'm just looking up for graphic here. This is it. But this game is going to be totally unwatchable, man. Like, I might tune in just a little bit, maybe the first quarter, but I just don't see how they're going to be able to compete with the Buffalo Bills, who are going to be at full tilt for the most part. So obviously you guys know probably where I'm leaning with this one, but we'll talk about it in just a second. And finally, we got the Monday night game. The Dallas Cowboys heading to Inglewood, California to take on the LA Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Cowboys coming off of a really, really terrible ass whooping by the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. Now they got to go play their former offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. This one's going to be close. Right now, the Cowboys are one and a half favorite, which could go either way. I'm not going to talk about this a lot. Yeah, Cowboys, they got some pieces, but they got to figure it out. My biggest thing with this team is that they're not tough, dude. They got a lot of fake tough guys on this team. Micah Parsons is included in one of them, I think. He came on his little podcast on Monday talking about, it was personal with George Kittle. Like, dude, like, just shut up, man. Yeah, he whooped y'all ass and he wore a shirt that said something about Dallas. He beat you guys. And where were you at? He's busy with his body. And that's the thing with Michael Parry. I don't know if you guys notice this a lot. His body language sometimes when things aren't going right or going their way, he just kind of falls off, right? I still think he's an incredible talent. Is he overrated? I wouldn't say he's overrated, but I don't think he's that guy like a TJ Watt, right? Oh, he's getting double team. You don't think TJ Watt's getting double team too? And maybe I just don't understand the scheme. I don't know, but he's Michael Parsons is a great pass rusher. He's athletic. He's not overrated, I would say. But maybe there's just something missing with him, man. And that's I mean, listen, the defense still can't stop the run. Offense can't sustain drives. That's just a recipe for disaster. And the schedule does not get easy for the Dallas Cowboys. And then you got the San Diego Chargers, LA Chargers. I mean, what can I say about them? They're literally one of the best teams on paper in the league, right? But their head coach is a complete idiot at times. They're literally going to be wasting the talents of arguably one of the best quarterbacks, in the league, and just a young quarterback in Justin Herbert. But if I had to pick this game, now they did beat them. I believe they beat them. What was it, last year? Or maybe the year before. They did go to LA and they did beat them. I want to say it was last year, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I want to say they did go down there and beat them. It was a closer game. I don't know, man. I want to sound like a fanboy, but I'm still thinking about it right now. I'm going to. I don't know. This one's a tough one. It's close. It's -1.5, meaning literally anyone can win this game. I'm really not feeling the offense. And one thing I will say about the Chargers is that they can score. So I'm going to take the Chargers at home to win this game, just because they're going to be able to score more. And Dak does not look good right now. They're not moving the ball. CeeDee Lamb is not really a big part of the offense. Tony Pollard does not look like a featured back, right? And a lot of people, so you guys want to get rid of Zeke. Let's be real. Zeke is a shell of himself, right? They needed to move off of Zeke. They just needed to pair Tony Pollard with a better running back duo if they want to keep Tony Pollard. But these guys want a lot of money, and they're not even worth it. They're not worth it. So we'll have to wait and see. But it was 2021 they did beat. Okay, it was 2021. That was that long ago. I feel like I think they played the Rams last year. That's what it was. They played the Rams last year, and that's what got me confused. But I do remember watching that game when they beat the Chargers, because it was like a game-winning field goal or something like that. Anyway, all right, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I'm going to go against my Cowboys. I'm going to take the Chargers to win a close game just because they're going to be able to make more plays than Dak will. Simple as that. So, but I keep it real, man. Keeping it real. All right, we got clutch picks of the week for week 6. Obviously, I just missed the covering the Denver Broncos. They lost by 11. I had them losing at least about 10.5. But it is what it is, man. To me, that was almost a win. If the Chiefs didn't get that late field goal, I would have been already 1-0 already for the week. But we'll have to wait and see. But my other picks, I got Seattle. Listen, Seattle, they know how to play on the road. Cincinnati, there's still something missing there. But we'll have to wait and see. I like Seattle's chances on the road against Cincinnati. Chicago Bears, I got them at home, man. The Minnesota Vikings, they suck. No Justin Jefferson. Where's their offense going to come from? TJ Hawkinson all day? I doubt it. So I like the Bears to win and keep that momentum rolling from the Thursday night shellacking that they put down on the Washington Commanders. And then, of course, a no-brainer here, a game that I probably will have to watch now that I think about it because I got some skin in the game. So I got the Bills to cover at -14.5. They should probably win by 3 or 4 touchdowns. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't know. But so those are clutch picks of the week. Obviously, I know the Denver Broncos did not cover. This is funny comment here. He says, Broncos country, let's cry. Yeah. Real quick before I get up out of here, this whole Sean Payton, there's a lot of people to be blamed here. You got the front office of Denver that gave up the whole farm for Russell Wilson. And I know what they were trying to do. They're trying to recreate that year that they won the Super Bowl by going all in with Peyton Manning. And it's blown up in their face. I mean, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I've really not seen a quarterback like not Trevor Wilson, Russell Wilson, just deteriorate without not having like a real significant injury, man. Like, and now their defense ain't that great anymore. It's just it's just a mess, man. They cannot move the football to save it. And honestly, I think we just kind of most of us just kind of overrated I think we overrated their offensive talent. They just don't have talent. They really don't. Cortland Sutton's been a nice little solid receiver in the National Football League, but they just don't have enough, man, at the end of the day. And Sean Payton, let's just be real, maybe he's not that great of a head coach either, right? And when you look at his last couple of years in New Orleans, it's a reason why they wanted him out of there. Not to say that he sucks. He's still going to get respect because he is a Super Bowl winning head coach. But gosh darn, man, that's a long time ago. That is a long time ago. So they're in a tough spot. No one's trading for Russell Wilson. And if they do, they're going to be like, hey, Denver, you're paying some of that contract because we don't want that bum-ass contract that you guys gave us. So I don't know. It's gonna be for them the rest of the year, especially if they win 1 or 2 games, which is it's a possibility. If that's the case, then you got to find a way to move off Russell Wilson somehow and get one of these young quarterbacks and start fresh and then go from there. Because you can't even have them there in the building. It's just too much of a distraction because of the money, right? It's just not working out for them. But anyway, that's all I got, y'all, man. Half an hour just flies by just like that, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure if you haven't hit me up on social media, you guys see my handles down there, man. Hit me up. Go to YouTube, subscribe, man. Let's do it. Other than that, man, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Enjoy today's games. Drink responsibly, man. It's all love. That's all I got. This is Special Quarters Talk. NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, your boy Ryan Flowers. Gotta hear that music, man. I'm vibing.